Well, I did not think that we'd be back here again, boys, covering another batch of rare champions that you might want to max out. Truth is, we might be scraping the bottom of the barrel just a little bit here, but you know what? It's when you really dig down into the weeds of the better rare champions that you find what might be some hidden gems that can really help your account progress in the early stages. On screen right now are the names of all of the rare champions, all billion of them, that we've covered so far in this series. And while we leave those up there, just a quick disclaimer, obviously, not all of these champs do you actually want to take up to 60. Some of these champs you might want to take to 50. Some of these champs, you may already have a better rare or epic alternative to them, and you don't need to touch them at all. But hey, as a brand new player, you pull these champs in the first couple months of your account or something, and you want to max them up, they might find value for you for a long time to come in, various wings of content, including stuff like faction wars and stuff like that, man. Now, if your account is like 8 months old or something, and you happen to pull a Candle Guard, for example, would I recommend that you max it out? Well, obviously not. You know, you've probably got some better options at that stage. But hey, man, that doesn't mean that champs like Candle Guard can't do some work for you early on, man. Candle Guard, I don't know about this entry. What do you guys think of the old candle, man? Hey, kit is actually pretty sweet. If you're not familiar with it, this is the breakdown, man. So the A1, 60% chance fully booked of removing one random buff from an enemy on attack. Also has a 50% chance, or rather 70% chance, I guess, of stealing one random buff instead if the target has 3 or more buffs. Interesting enough, A1, not bad for a rare champion. The A2 is an attack all, with a 75% chance of placing a weaken debuff for 2 turns, and the A3 is a self buffer with weak increase attack, weak increase crit rate on this champ for 3 turns, actually, then attacks all enemies. And so, yeah, a couple of AoEs, man, on the A2 and on the A3. The self-buff is obviously always welcome. The buff duration on this thing is actually kind of crazy. And of course, as with all rare champions, skill bucks are very easy to come by, right? The rare skill toms. And so you can max her out pretty quick, man. This is a 4-turn cooldown, by the way, on this A3, fully booked. 4-turn cooldown, 3-turn duration buff. It's pretty tight, man. It's pretty sweet. Now, is she one of the top tier rares in the game that you're going to build out to be like some kind of nuke goddess or whatever? Well, probably not, okay? But again, at the same time, if you do pull her pretty early on and you're looking for kind of like a second nuker to build on your account or whatever, and you want to take it to like level 50 and just leave her there for a while, you can totally do that and still find value with her as the game goes on, into things like faction wars, into things like secret rooms later on. I wonder how well she would work in a stun set, or if she'd just be better off building, like, just building her as a nuker. I wonder, man, how would you build a Candle Guard if you did happen to just, I don't know, start your new account with a level 60 Candle Guard, for example, you know, hypothetically. I'm not quite sure. But hey, maybe we'll just go ahead and consider a honorable mention for this list, but yeah, Candle Guard, man. Next up, we head on into the Skinwalkers faction for an awesome rare champ that I totally slept on, dude. And that is going to be Panthera. Panthera is honestly pretty amazing for a rare champ when it comes to Fire Knight progression, which I'm just going to check her reviews. Okay, 4.6. I think that's probably about fair. I'd be totally fine with seeing this go a little bit higher, just because for a rare champ, the quality that this gal brings, I think it's a gal anyway, to normal mode Fire Knight and helping you along with progression on that front, is sweet. Dude, I would love a champ like this on my account right now. I'm so bad into Fire Knight, man. I've got like one decent Fire Knight champ in my whole account, man. But Panthera, the kit, dude, attacks one enemy 3 times, so it's a triple hitter right off the get-go on the A1. Each crit has a, God, what is this fully booked? 75% chance of decreasing the target's 10 meter by 3%. So while it is a very small 10 meter reduction, okay, it is only a rare champion, it's a triple hitter. If all 3 attacks crit, which they should if you're building it correctly, it's 10% 10 meter reduction. Not bad. Also, it being a triple hitter, just helping to break down the Fire Knight's shield. On the A2, it's a double hitter. Each hit with a fully booked 100% chance of placing a heal reduction debuff for a couple of turns, which is also pretty decent into Fire Knight. If you're not able to stop the Fire Knight completely from getting a 10, then it will heal up a little bit, and this just denies that heal completely if you get this debuff up and running, so also pretty good. And even the A3, man, it's a 3-turn cooldown, place a perfect Veil buff and a 30% reflect damage buff on this champion for 2 turns, which, again, reflect damage against Fire Knight, not bad, okay? Not only does it, like, slap him back in the face for a little bit of damage, but also, most importantly, reflecting damage onto Fire Knight will also plink down 1 charge of his shield, right? It counts as an instance of damage into the Fire Knight shield. And so there you go, man. That's Panthera. Dude, I was quite impressed by this rare champ. And I'm not sure how we completely missed it so far. Maybe, then again, it is like a void rare, so it's kind of harder to get your hands on. But in the off chance that you do pull a void shard early on your account, you're struggling into Fire Knight, you pull Panthera, don't be disappointed if you need a hand in Fire Knight. She's going to give you a hand, man. What a sweet little rare, dude. And hey, man, before we continue on, if you haven't already, make sure to go ahead and input the promo code GameLeap. This is going to get your hands on 1 free energy refill, 100,000 silver, and 10 free experience brews. Using it also helps to support the channel, man. So, hey, thanks in advance if you do go ahead and do that. Not only that, but if you are a new player looking to start a new Raid Shadow Legends account, make sure to do so by clicking on the promo link down below at the top of the video description. Doing so will jumpstart your account with a free epic champion, as well as a whole bunch of starting resources, man. The best possible way to start your new Raid Shadow Legends adventure. And alright, boys, it is time to venture into the Ogren Tribes faction. And God, where is he, man? Where is he? You know what we said about scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit? Well, we're talking about slightly underrated picks here, man. What are his reviews like? Look at how crap his reviews are, dude. Oh my God. Well, again, it's because single target nukers are not really that high priority, and if you do get your hands on a single target nuker, it tends to be much easier to find, like, any epic champion that's an attack champ to be better than Ogren Jailer. But I just want to draw some attention to this guy real quick. Let's just call him another honorable mention. This guy's really deceptively decent. I'm not doing a good job of selling him by calling him decent, but there you go, man. So, the A1 attacks one enemy, chance of removing one random buff from the target. So, again, not bad. Another one of those buff stripper attacks that can help you out in early magic keep. That kind of thing. The A2 attacks one enemy, has a... God, what is this, man? 65% chance of stealing 2 random buffs from the target. Stealing, by the way, places an extra hit if any buff is stolen. So, really quite decent early on if you are struggling into the magic keep and you need a way to peel buffs in that sense. And the A3 attacks one enemy, damage increases by 20% if the target has no active buffs. So why are we drawing attention to this guy? Why is he a bit more remarkable than what he seems on the surface? Well, it's about his attack damage multipliers, man. This guy on the A2 and I think even on the A3 has 6 times damage multipliers on these skills. They hit as if he's a single target epic champion, like attack champion. And so I think this is another one of those rare champs that if you pull him early on a fresh new account, right, and you're looking for something to use into Magic Keep. Funnily enough, I didn't even notice the arena offense, but this is what I'm about to go into. If you're using him in Magic Keep to peel the shield buff off of the boss, right, which is a decent use for Jailer. If you build him out for that job, and he's strong at doing that job, and you get him to say level 50, or even maybe you want to take him all the way to 60, which I'm not sure I recommend. But if you do, you can then also translate him to use as a single target nuker in Arena, especially Tag Arena, where if your account is super early on, you're probably lacking the ability to field like 3 decent nukers. And yeah, just don't underestimate rather the damage on this guy's A2 and A3. He can hit like an absolute truck. Now, would I personally recommend that you take him to 60? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all, to be honest. But I don't know, man. If someone wants to try it out for science and absolutely slap the hell out of people in Arena, then there you go. You can give it a bash, man. Next up, we have Mr. Castigator, and there he is. I've actually got this guy sitting, waiting in the wings on my account. His ratings are kind of middling. He finds most use, of course, in good old faction wars, and dude, it's really all about his A2. We will go over the rest of his kit, though, to be fair as well. So, first up, man, his A1 attacks one enemy, fully booked, 40% chance of placing Provoke. Not great, not terrible. He is an HP-based champ as well, which you should also point out, so he has a good amount of survivability, and it's also quite important that you're just building as much health on him as possible for the A2, which is what this is really all about, right? Fully booked, 4-turn cooldown, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 20% of this champion's max HP, then equalizes the health levels of all allies and grants this champion an extra turn, okay? That's a lot packed into one skill, dude. So, obviously, the heal is scaling based on Castigator's health, which is great, because, of course, he's a HP-based champ, so you just want to build him with as much health as possible anyway. That'll make the heal strong as hell, Then you top up the goddamn health of the lowest health champion, who's being slapped all over the place, probably in Faction Wars, let's be real. Equalizing the health just brings stability to the entire team, and then you get an extra turn on this champ, and so effectively, this skill is actually a 3-turn cooldown, right? Because that extra turn immediately knocks things down a little bit. It's also his only skill, which is quite interesting too. Passive isn't exactly super noteworthy, I guess, bit less damage taken from provoked targets, but I don't know, dude. Would it be worth smacking this guy in something like a reflex set, I wonder? Just to keep on knocking the cooldown down of Holy Equity as much as possible? You know what I'm saying? Get it down to like a 1 or 2 turn cooldown with the reflex set. Then just stack as much health on him as you possibly can. Maybe like an Immortal 2 set, something like that, you know? Plus health on all of his accessories where possible. And just use him as a crazy heal spammer? Would that be a thing? I don't know, man. That's Castigator. He might struggle to find use in other areas of the game, but insofar as just stabilizing a Faction Wars team goes, and you're still working your way through Faction Wars, this might be the man for you. Next up, Demon Wars faction, and we have ourselves another happy little rare nuker. And dude, Marquez looks insane. Looks so cool, man. Oh my god. Okay, Marquez's kit. A1 attacks one enemy. Chance of placing the weak version of decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. I mean, not that remarkable. Not that great, not reliable, meh. It's all about the other skills, man. The A2 attacks all enemies with a 50% chance of placing the weak version of Weaken debuff for 2 turns, deals extra damage to enemies with the Weaken debuff. So the Weaken debuff is fine. It's obviously decent into wave-based content, obviously. In Arena, dude, this champ is not to be underestimated, right? As a kind of like a starting nuker. Particularly because, yeah, it's an attack all enemies, you know, how much damage can it really do? That's almost secondary to the fact that she's a defense-based champion, right? So the more defense and the tankier you build your Marquez, the more damage she's actually doing, and of course, she is able to take a punch as well, being a defense-based nuker, right? Now, the A3 is kind of where it all comes together, you know? Because if you fail to kill your enemies off with the defense-based nuke on the A2, then at least you have the A3, right? Which is an attack 1 enemy, 100% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. This is just a kind of great follow-up ability to use in Arena if you get to that second turn, which again, you're quite likely to do because if you don't kill him off with the A2, you might at least place the weakened debuff, which is grand. She's defense-based, she's likely to survive their kind of counter-attacks, right? And then she can get off the A3, and you kind of go from there. So yeah, that's my guess. Pretty good stuff, man. Her ratings actually quite nicely reflect how decent she is as well. Pretty cool. Obviously, you want to be playing this gal alongside another champ who's increasing defense as well. Strong version of increased defense on a team with Marquez is going to be absolutely crucial. Now, boys, we're moving on to... Is this like the very bottom of the barrel here? What do you guys think of good old Bogwalker, man? Because I've seen some people say Bogwalker is... I mean, look at his ratings, dude. Faction Wars, is he really that good? Is he really that good? I've seen some people say that Faction Wars is actually worth taking up to 50, kind of like at a minimum, just for Faction Wars. And even as like as a starting champion Demon Lord as well. Now that I think of it, that's another thing that I've heard. What do you guys think of Bogwalker, man? Is he worth being on this list? I don't know, dude. Let's break down the kit, man, to refresh your guys' memories. The A1 is an attack 1 enemy with a 45% chance, or actually 50% chance, of placing strong version of decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Very, very good A1. It's got to be said. For early clan boss, this is actually really, really tight. Really, really good. Very, very important buff. You would have to pair him with another champion that's also bringing decreased attack. Maybe like an unreliable decreased attack, like a Hitatsu or something. Just to ensure that you're consistently getting this off. But as far as rare champ A1s go, pretty decent, right? The A2, attack all enemies, place a weak version of increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is bookable down to a 3-turn cooldown, so it should be up relatively reliably. That said, it is of course only weak version. Then again, while that is of course weaker and it's not going to get you super far into clan boss, this is pretty good for Faction Wars. It's a good general ability, I suppose. Is Lizardmen a faction that really struggles for rare champs? And like all of its rare champs are just garbage or something? So then Bogwalker comes along and he's like a big fish in a small pond, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know, man. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why he seems better than he actually is in Lizardmen Faction Wars. I'm really interested to see what you guys think about this guy. Anyway, the passive places a 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 1 turn when attacked with a critical hit. Honestly, I have no idea at all how to judge the effectiveness of this passive. It's only a 110 buff duration, so how long, like how much value is it really gonna get? Probably not a whole lot against Clan Boss, because Clan Boss attacks in, you take the crit, then it puts reflect damage on everybody, but Clan Boss is just attacked, so it's 10 meters 0. So your entire team is then going to attack in, lose the reflect damage buff. So in the Clan Boss, it feels like this actually doesn't do anything, you know what I'm saying? But hey man, that's Bogwalker. What do you guys think of the old Boggy Boy, man? I actually have him on my account. I'm about to use him as food, literally. I leveled him, I think he's actually like level 40 food. Just sitting there waiting to go, waiting to be taken up to 5 stars to get like funneled into my Estrad or something, you know? Oh god, hang on man. We've got like a real Giga Chad champ now for the Lizard Men. We've got Teryx. And of course, like this guy is awesome as far as Rare Champions go. Dude, how the hell did I forget this? He's the current fusion rare. Okay, man, so Teryx, man. I'm not going to spend too long on him because, of course, we should all be familiar with Teryx right now. He's very much in like... He's very much at the forefront of our minds with the Wixwell fusion ongoing, but we gotta take a quick look at his kit, because honestly, I would highly recommend that if you're a brand new player, brand new account, and you're looking to get your hands on a decent provoker, good tanky champion to kind of be the front line for your team, Teryx is a great starting point, man. So the A1 attacks one enemy, weak version of increased accuracy on this champion for 210s. Honestly, not bad, right? You do need accuracy in order to be applying your provokes and applying your debuffs, obviously, right? Maybe new players, that's not obvious, but there you go, that's what accuracy does. So yeah, having this on a champ that is trying to place provokes is actually very, very good use of the A1. The A2 is a attack all enemies on a 4-turn cooldown with a 75% chance of placing that provoke debuff for 110 on all enemies. Pretty damn good, honestly. It is a bit of a shame about the length of the cooldown, with it being only a 110 provoke debuff on a 410 cooldown is kind of rough, but hey, you're not exactly spoilt for choice when it comes to early provokers super early on, unless you get something like a Nalhorn or something, right? But there you go. And the A3 is a place weak version of strengthen buff on all allies for 210s, and also place a counter-attack buff on this champion for 210s as well, which of course counter-attack on any kind of provoke champ is always going to be sweet as well, because they're taking all kinds of hits. This is bookable down to a 310 cooldown. So there you go, man. Teryx the Restless. I think this guy is actually pretty sweet. I would certainly build this guy out if I had one to spare that I wasn't throwing into the Wixwell fusion event, just for Lizardmen Faction Wars, just to have a decently reliable provoker ready to roll. And next up, another champ that I actually have ready to roll on my account right now that we gotta touch on, there he is good old, oh, it's actually a she, okay, is Prosecutor, okay, she's great. Well, actually, I kind of feel like she's sort of criminally underrated. Like, these ratings are not representative of how good this champ is, in my opinion, as a progression champ, to be clear, by the way. As with all of the rare champs in the game, there's almost always an epic champion that's going to do the job twice as well. But until you find those epic champions, okay, or you fuse a legendary champ or whatever that can just do the job way, way better, then rare champs are going to take you. I mean, they're going to be your bread and butter, right? And by the way, stay tuned for that, man. Underrated champs, that's going to be a huge theme of upcoming videos, man, because, oh my god, dude. Have I been doing? I did like 4 hours of homework yesterday, just researching the hell out of champs that have like really crappy ratings, but actually, they're just way, way better than they seem on the surface, right? Anyways, the A1, attack one enemy 2 times, each hit with a 20% chance, or rather 30% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. Obviously, 10 meter reduction into Fire Knight, even early Dark Fae, actually, is going to be very, very useful for you. It's a multi-hitter, not the best, but again, for progression, not bad into normal mode. Fire Knight, the A2, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing the strong version of decreased speed debuff for 210s. This is on a 310 cooldown, man. This is really good. Like, this is excellently good. Now, of course, it's not 100% reliable, but 310 cooldown? Attack all, strong version of decreased speed. Like, people underestimate the hell out of decreased speed all the time, man. This is really, really sweet. If this was 100% proc chance, a 100% debuff chance, we're talking like epic tier stuff, you know. So yeah, this really isn't far off, man. Fantastic, fantastic A2. And on the A3, it's an attack one enemy 3 times, so decent for cracking the Fire Knight shield. Also places a strong version of increased accuracy buff on this champ for 2 turns before attacking. Of course, accuracy is required for the A1 as well, for actually decreasing the target's turn meter and getting this debuff to stick, right? Getting this effect to actually land. So that's quite important to note as well. And rather, on the A3, each hit on this triple hitter has a, what is this, man? 45% chance replacing a strong version of heal reduction debuff for 2 turns, which again, into Fire Knight, if it gets the turn, it's going to heal that little bit. Well, not anymore if you got Prosecutor on your team. This gal, also a heal reduction, good against Darkfire too, by the way. And so's the decrease speed. So yeah, seriously, if you get Prosecutor early on, you're struggling into Fire Knight, I would actually recommend maxing this champ, just because of the longevity she's going to have on your account, right? You're going to use it for a long time. Unless you find a better option along the way, which isn't always guaranteed, you will use it into lower levels of Darkfire. She's going to do a decent amount of work for you going into normal mode Fire Knight. And even then, if you need a hand in Faction Wars, she can do a little bit of that too, right? Secret rooms, stuff like that. With the attack all enemies, strong version, decreased speed. She just brings a little bit of it. Like, it's really the A2 that seals the deal, you know? The A2 guarantees that even when you replace Prosecutor in a normal mode Fire Knight team, and like Darkfire and stuff like that, you're still going to find use for her after the fact, right? You can retire her to Faction Wars and that kind of thing. So there you go, man. Good old Prosecutor. What a damn champ. And that is going to be all for this top rare champs video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Keep the suggestions coming in. I actually said a few weeks ago that I don't think I'll be doing any more of these videos, but then just through happenstance, I guess I discovered a few more notable rares that you might want to pay attention to if you are a newer player in Raid, which is what these videos are really for, by the way. Drawing attention to champs that you might overlook as a newer player. If you're interested in more videos like this one where we cover top champion lists, beginner guides, that kind of thing, make sure to hit like on the video and of course subscribe to the channel so you are more likely to catch said videos. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you all did enjoy. If you're looking to start off a new Raid Shadow Legends account, make sure to do so by clicking on the promo link down below at the top of the video description to start your new account with a free epic champion and a whole bunch of starting supplies. Thanks again, everybody. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and we're going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later, man.